1-11-5. The Agila Bulgarian Dynasty. The Agila Bulgarian Dynasty gave many famous figures to the Askip or Bulgarian steppe. The representatives of this dynasty are descendants of the son of Abar or of Arkam Rajul. The descendants of Rajul are the Bagd Yad of the Trek Bulgarians Balagaj, Ijdar, Istur, Danube, Sarbin, his son Unmin, his son Unbail-Bai, his son Rujabambine, his son Banjar, his son Raji nicknamed Asparaik or Sibaraik Snargapit in Herodotus, his son Edon like in Herodotus, who was emperor of Escapus for 20 years, 622 to 602 BC, his son Kan-Dere in Herodotus, who was emperor of Askip for 30 years, 600 to 570 BC. His wives were named Pharia, Cyzicus, and Syme. His sons by them were Salas, Gagiat, and Gareth nicknamed Anagarses, Juman, and Sabin. Saulius was emperor of Askip also for 30 years, 558 to 528 BC. His son Indabir ruled Askip for 23 years, 528 to 505 BCE. His son was Bavar or Kavar Arbuga-Kurlabi, who ruled Askip for 23 years, 480 to 432 BC. His son Uctimus ruled Askip for 15 years, 447 to 432 BC. His son Chokir ruled Askip for 18 years, 430 to 412 BC. His son Sandugach ruled Askip for 10 years, 412 to 402 BC. His son Nukrat had 3 sons, Shurbulyak, Zardag Oygir, and Ishtiak, and a daughter who became the wife of Dare, etc., as is evident from the diagram of the family tree of the Agila Dynasty of the Bulgars. 2 famous sons of Tur were the Emperor Deber Katrak, who ruled Askip for 2 years, 432 to 430 BC, and Tuba Udig, who also had 2 famous sons, Kulian and Birli. The descendants of Kulian were called Kulians Geloni in Herodotus, and the name Kulian is derived from the names Bulgar-Bulir, as the Ugil were called. Then some of the Bulgar Kulians, under the reign of Deber, began to call them Debers. Under the rule of the Kulian Buliars, there had long been in the Agile Balkans the Bulgar Sabaics or Sabins. These are the hardiest and never complained of their fate Bulgarians. A part of the Kulians and Sabians, Gelonians, and Sapians in Herodotus migrated to Akbashija. There the Kulians were called Kashans Kushan, and from the Kushan separated the Baranjars, Sartans, etc., the Sabaeans, subject to the Asiatic Kulians Kashans, after having joined to themselves a large part of the Maskatelans, Massageto-Alans, and the Igimenisidoni in Herodotus. The Siberians received the name of Bajanaks, Pechenek. The Alans and Siberians who joined them greatly distorted their Trek Bulgarian language, after which the new dialect, the so-called Sabin or Kipchak language, was formed. It is sometimes called an independent Bulgarian language, but this is incorrect. The independent Bulgarian languages are the Arasic or Yandarbag, Finnic, the Jugra, Ugaritic or Proto-Ugaritic, the Agil, Proto-Slavic-Illyric Cartho-Baltic, Sinji, Caucasian languages, Trek-Bupgar, Thracian Bulgarian and later Turkic Bulgarian, Subash, Chuvash, and Labi or Iski Subash, Old Chuvash, languages. The Liabai or Isk-Subash language has been preserved to our time only in the Mermer, Berbers. There are 7 indigenous Bulgarian languages, but they all derive from the Lokar or Lokber language, which is called Ashtuzgar, Labi Bulgarian, and Old Subash, in honor of the Alpha-Subin. The Lokrian language gave rise to the Kara or Yandarbag, Finnic language. The Kara language gave rise to the Jugra, Ugric or Proto-Ugric language. The Jugra language gave rise to the Sindhi, Caucasian languages, and Novosabash, Chuvash languages. The Sindhi language gave rise to the Agil language and the Novosabash language to the Trek Bulgarian language. Many incorrectly call the Novosabash language Tuz or Tuzgar language. Suleiman Ibn Dud, a Bulgarian poet and scholar of the 12th century, calls the Lokar language Old Bulgarian, Proto-Bulgarian. And this is correct. The Agil language is divided into many adverbs, one of which, Burjani, is spoken today by the Bargis, Persians, and the Ulchi, glorious ones. Trekkers jokingly describe a language as a mixture of Burjani and Tuz adverbs. At one time, little attention was paid in this country to the study of the Aryan, Jagrian, and Ulchi languages, but with the coming to Bulier in 1121 of Sadq el-Galij, the Novgorodian, and in 1130 of Gabdullah al-Garnadi al-Majuri, the Grenadian, and the Hungarian, this problem was eliminated. Sandugach Effendi became head of the department of the Aryan and Ulchi languages, and Gabdullah Effendi of the department of the Magyar language. According to Sandugach Effendi, the Ulchi and Burj languages were formed from the Agil language, which is why many writers call the Ulchi language and the Agil language, although there are great differences between these languages, although they are related. Thus, the Bargis do not understand the Ulchi, although Farsi, an ancient Persian language, appears to be a Burj dialect. The Kusht, after that part of the Mjani, Paeonians, and Herodotus, who are also called Akatreks, White Thracians, Balishti, Biljani, and Biljaki, Pelasgians, were among the first Bulgarians who began to speak the Trek Bulgarian language. In doing so, they retained their original attachment to all things Bargian, Persian. Samaki, writer, scholar, historian, secretary, Abaz writes that the mixing of the Trek Bulgarian, Bargian, and Mermer Trek Bulgarian, Persian, and Berber languages gave rise to the Cretan, Greek, language. 1-11-6, Sumerian, Elenian, Hunnic, and Balthavarian dynasties 1. Dulo, Alabuga-Bulgar, 808 to 775 BC, son of Burma, ruled for 33 years. He reunited the forest and steppe lands of Idel, and because of this he received the nickname Chirem-Misha, Chermis, Ijabak, Lord of the Steppes, Chirem, and the Forest, Misha. His descendants added his nickname to their titles, and for this reason their dynasty was called Chermish Sarmatian. According to Bulgarian legend, after his death Tangra gave his soul the form of a winged dragon, Baraj, and ordered him to protect the Bulgarian lands. His favorite capital was the town of Ijabak in the Kuban region, a name which was also pronounced as Aspak, Uzbek. This city, after 1400, Kagan Kurbit took from the Serbians, Turks, in 630 AD and put it under the rule of his son Attila, called for this Aspar the capital of Aspak. An image of Alabuga-Bulgar was inscribed on a stone placed over his grave, around the city of Alabuga, Samar, son of Tumas, Kanakbal, son of Samar, Tucha, son of Kanakbal, Berdas Burjan or Burjani, Berendius, 683 to 633 BC, son of Tuksha. From his reign began the strong reigns, or Tazbash, the shaved heads. He defeated the Kamarites, for which he received the nickname Kamir Badr, victor of the Kamarites, the Sumerians. A large part of the Sumerians fled to Atriac, Turkey, and in their lands Berdas settled the Asiatic Sakas, the Kipchaks. In the Middle East, he was called Parthachua. He tried to restore Bulgarian domination over the territory of the former Sumerian state, and for a time took possession of much of it after the Berdas War from 653 BC. Magizak, 633 to 611 BC, son of Berdas. Sorin, wife of Berdas's younger son, Katrag, ruled the steppe part of Idel. It fell to her to rule Azerbaijan for a time. Yuliat or Lug, Bulut, or Akresh Bulut, son of Yuliat, reigned 10 years, having previously been governor of Saklan Idel. He was famous for his good nature and peace-loving nature. He allowed the Kresh Greeks to build several towns in Saklan on the Black Sea, for which they paid him a large tribute. He introduced the rule to conduct correspondence with foreign countries in the Greek language and with Greek letters, for which he earned the nickname Kresh, the Greek. Luaskal or Lekalip, son of Balutis and a Greek woman. He became famous for his gift as a soothsayer. He refused the offer, but the brother of Ayur, Avar, to attack the Greek colonies in Sakhalin, because divination performed for that purpose showed him that he would receive divine punishment for it. Outraged by this, Ire killed Luaskal, Baron's son of Luaskal, Torgon or Asparaik, 558 to 530 BC. He was born in 580. The Bulgarian, Persian, King Cyrus in one of the wars captured and killed him because he warned the king about the prophecy from Asparaik's mother. It is destined for you to meet your double, with whom you will die in the same year. Indeed, the two were born and ruled in the same years. And soon after Asparaik's execution, the Persian king died by falling from a horse. Kunduz Balthavar, 530 to 494 BC, the younger son of Torgon. He was born in 530, and until he grew old, Idel was ruled by his mother Tamirbaika. He defeated the Persian king Tarjais, Darius. He was assisted in all things by his elder brother, Colin, 555 to 486 BC, who held under his mother and afterwards the posts of Achurj Baal, commander of the center of the army, and Djik Kosh, leading the royal council, the Council of Inheritance. Masha, 494 to 488 DC, the eldest son of Kunduz. He fought against Barjil, Persia, and for his frequent raids on Timur Kappa, Iron Gates, Derbent, he received the nickname Timur. His wife was Simberbika, daughter of the chief of the Idel tribe of Shirak or Shiran-Elbir. Simberbika's mother's name was Shan Kazi, i.e. her clan was called Shan. Alvar Magiais, or Askell, 488 to 486 BC. The youngest son of Kunduz, after the death of Mosca, married his widow Simberbiki. He died after a feast in honor of Greek envoys. A rumor spread that he had been poisoned by Kunduz's middle son, Avar Debur, because of his marriage to Simberbiki. Avar kidnapped Simberbiki, but was killed by lightning on the banks of the Debanesh Dniester, after which his tribe departed from that place to the mouth of the Sula. Barju, 486 to 475 BC, son of Colin, born in 530. Audan Yurai Barice, son of Alvar, born in 486, raised in the family of Baris. Legends about him entered the ancient Bulgarian epic Shan Talgau. Bakshirak, 475 BC, the younger son of Colin. Born in 525, he forced Auden to flee his native Aul and wander the steppes. Boyar or Borak, 4th century BC, made an attack on Macedon, the Macedonian kingdom, and defeated its capital Balbal, Pella, which was also called Baldu, king of the virgins. But on his return to a pass, the detachment of his cousin Etheus, Chemethius, was ambushed. Etheus died. Before the march, Edi had a dream of the Alpha Wolf, who told him the following: "If you go on this march, you will perish, but the Bulgarians will win a great booty. If you do not go, you will live and live long, but the Bulgarians will suffer defeat." Aetius joined the campaign only for the sake of his people to sustain victory. In his memory, the Bulgarians began to call this pass camp Pan, Etheus, or Atius, Adi, 380 to 339 BC, descendant of Ufa, grandson of Chemethius. Did not believe in the prediction of the Kama, Shichana, that he would perish like his grandfather if he attacked Balbal, Pella, Macedonia, and without necessity, but out of curiosity, attacked Macedon, the Balkans. He died in 339 in battle with King Baldi-Balbal, Philip of Macedonia. In memory of his heroism and that of his grandfather, the Bulgars gave Sakhalin a second name, Attila, land of Etheus, and Baldiu himself married Etheus' son, Balamir, to his foster daughter, Uranus Bika. Balamir, 339 to 310 BC, son of Etheus, helped Alamir's sultan, Alexander the Great, whom he outlived by 3 years, to conquer Persia. In the language of the Kamos, his name means the little base, ruler, peace, feast. And the nickname Sultan comes from Keldon, which in the language of the Kamos means glorified throughout the world. Alabuga-Bulgar, 339 to 310 BC, brother and co-ruler of Balamir. His headquarters were located on the rivers Sujerkin or Buga, South Bug, for which he bore its name. He defeated the army of Alexander the Great in 331 BC, who had broken the terms of peace with Idel. In 310 BC, he became chief of the eastern part of Idel, where he died in his capital, Alabuga. He was buried around the grave of his ancestor, Alabuga-Bulgar. He had only the image of an axe and a dagger, the symbols of forest and steppe, carved on his tombstone, saying, "I look like my ancestor anyway. Why should I depict myself?" Tarjais, 320 to 314 BC, son of Balamir and Urunbaika. His father named him Tarjais in memory of the defeat of the Persian king Tarjais, Darius III. He suppressed the rebellion of the Karasaklan Kipchaks, the Congo splitting into the tribes of Nukrat, Nabari, Ishtiak, Esagi, and others. After 6 years, Kashin Azin Kanjal, f. 180 BC, a descendant of Alabuga Khan, son of Kanjal, one of the most powerful kings of Idel. His mother was a Kashin, Massagetha, Baika princess. In his youth, he went on a campaign east to the river Hina in Ulahin, India. In the west, he defeated and subdued the Elagian stations. In the south, he made a victorious campaign into the Caucasus and Asia Minor, defeating Midin or Midjan Azerbaijan, Ariak Armenia, Bargil Persia, and subduing Ciliary, the kingdom of the Seleucids, Khezrael Cappadocia and Cilicia, and Atriac, western Turkey, the region of Troy. Some believe that he developed the Kashin script used by the Kamboyans and palace officials. In his memory, the Bulgarians named Eastern Wallachia Kashin. Kuban, son of Kashin, great Bulgarian musician and storyteller, king of Idel, created many songs, in which he reflected the mythology and history of the Bulgarians. Kulgali has preserved these words of his: Jamidzik gathered under his power, and 7 tribes, thanks to which the great Bulgarian nation was created. Tarjais forced all to reflect on the necessity of preserving their unity by ceding power to each other. Azin decided to extend Kashin from the 7 rivers to Sula, and this he did. All these actions are so inexplicable that it is clear they were taken at the suggestion but Tangra, who dwell on the banks of the rivers Sakla and Kuban, the descendant of Idzik, Tarjais, and Azin, and therefore I beseech Tangra, wise me as you have wise my ancestors. Chiliar 152 to 146 BC, son of Kuban, he was deposed by the tribal chieftains, the Tarkans, and took to wandering between Sachin and Sarachin. The Kipchak B. Urisman, whose sister Chiliar was married to, supported him. Chiliar's youngest son, Kelbir Kolber, Elor, fled with some of his people to Karabar Shud Krim, to his uncle Urisman, where he began to rule the Balkans, the steppes of Ukraine, and the pre-Caucasus independently. Alan 140 to 107 BC, grandson of Kuban, son of Suvarmatsti, a Tarhan. Ousted from power by his kinsmen, he made an alliance with Kelbir, and the latter in 140 BC helped him to become king of Idel, and Alan declared Kelbir and his successors to be the Tarkans' autonomous rulers of Saklan. Kelbir married Alan Uzbeka's daughter-in-law. During the wedding on the banks of the Kuban River, the revelers were surprisingly attacked by the army of Burshud, Bosporan Kingdom, led by Tamadio, and Alan's minor son Sakmar or Savmak, in Greco-Roman sources, was captured. Because of this, a war broke out between Idel and Burshud. In this war, the Bulgarian army was led at first by Kelbir and then by Balasan of Kelbir and Uzbek. Urisman's son Tashbash sided with them. Eventually, the Burshudas were defeated and Samak released. But then the king of the Pontic kingdom, Darbisan, came to the aid of the Burshudas, and with the backing of this same Tamadio, they again captured Samak, 107 BC, according to the Romans. On learning this, Alan died of stroke, and Samak died in exile in Darbisan, Trapezun Note. His body was ransomed for a large amount of gold and silver and was buried in his homeland, on the banks of the river Sakmak, or Sakmur Sakchar. Alan was the founder of the Alan Dynasty. Sarakin 107 to 65 BC, son of Balaik, grandson of Alan. Under his reign, Burshud came under the rule of the Altanbashes and the Yalakrim Rimlians and their subordinate nations. When Sarichin marched against them, the Burshudas unexpectedly went over to the side of the Yalakrimites, and Tashbash's brother Gian refused to support him. After the capture of Tamayaburin, Kuban, and Taman by the Yalakrimites, Sarichin preferred to recognize the authority of Alakarum over the Burshud. Gian was famous for his performances of Talgau Dastani, epic. Burshud Katrag 65 to 21 BC, son of Sarakin. He was born in the year of Burshud's accession to Alakarum, and his father therefore named him Burshud to endeavor to regain what he had lost. For the war with Alakarum, he recruited the tribe of the Katrags into his service, for which he received the nickname Katrag. He defeated many Alakarum cities in Sakhalin, Alabuga, Tyre, etc. In his time, the ruler of the western part of Idel was a descendant of Etler, Alabuga, Ineng, Bargil, 21 Bici 5 Adi, son of Burshud, Suva, Mai 2023D, son of Bargil, Kumik, 23 to 46, son of Sower, Baron, 46 to 106, son of Kumok. He dreamed of avenging the death of his ancestor Samak on Darbasan. At the suggestion of his gist, the Beka Shan, he besieged Kryashin, Kherson, Crimea, and only retreated when the Kryashin handed him the sculpture of Tam, the Burshud commander who had once captured Samak. Baron cut off the head of the sculpture and threw it into a pit beside Samak's grave. He then attacked Darbasan and defeated him. Kavail, Kubar, Tashbash or Air Tash Artan, 7 to 150, son of Kubar. His reign was cruel and savage, for which reason many hated him. He forbade trade Arcashan, Central Asia, Khwarezm, Sogdiana, Bactria, Uiguria, and generally harassed merchants. In 150, he died in a duel with Agar-J, this duel taking place at the insistence of Ertash's sister, Boyar, Buliar, Kuwais, and several Bulgarian Tarkans dissatisfied with Tashbash's rule. After his death, his son Shada Banat moved with part of his tribe to the Caucasus. Banat meant commander of 1,000 ban, horsemen, and /s or yunt. Agarja 150-1888, the first Idel Bulgarian king of the Dolo clan. He was recruited by Ertash to serve with his Hun troops and was given the rank of Saban Tarant, commander of light-armed inexperienced warriors, militiamen, and mercenaries. He married Ertash's sister, Boyar Kuis. In several places in Jagfar Tarihi, his name is rendered as Agaruza, Tukshi Bars 189 to 210, son of Agarja and Boyar Quis. Barak 210 to 235, son of Bardaeus. Barajar 235 to 271, son of Barak. The most illustrious Idel Bulgarian king of the first Han Bulgarian Hun dynasty, together with the Cathars serving Idel, defeated the army of the Urum, Roman, Emperor Decius near Provadia in 251. The emperor himself died in the battle. Berenjar's army then sacked the Urumic possessions on the Black Sea and stormed Darbasan, Trapezd, Indi, in response to Idel's failure to pay tribute. Kermes, late 6th century, son of Berenjar. Kinshet Baraj, on the border between the 3rd and 4th centuries, son of Kermes. Altesh, early 4th century, son of Kishet Baraj. Under him, Idel broke into test parts Takanesh, 2nd quarter of the 4th century, son of Altesh. Kama Badr Majar, mid-4th century, son of Altesh. His son Karadan headed the western part of Idel. Balumir Sheik, Shekalup Butimir, Bashamir, Balamir, Balamber, 363 to 378. He reunited all of Idel under his rule, becoming the first king of the two Han Bulgarian dynasty. By descent, a Hun military commander of the Dolo family, recruited to Bulgarian service by Kamabadr. By the word Balumir, the Bulgarians once called the Merv Oasis, almost all of modern Turkmenistan. He married Kamabatar's daughter, Turan Baika, who at first did not like him at all because of his pronounced Mongoloidness III. This Turan Baika served as the prototype of the fairy tale heroine Turandot, and Bulumur entered the legends of the Russian ancestors with the name Butimir. Under him, the following military ranks were established: Sabin, a light-armed warrior, a soldier, a mercenary; Buri, wolf, guardsman. After a time, the guardsmen began to call them also Wan Baganin, a middle officer commanding dozens of warriors; Shad Baganin, High Baganin, a senior officer with the right to command hundreds of warriors; Tarkhan, a senior military commander, an aristocrat with the right to command hundreds or thousands of warriors; Sabin Taran, commander of light-armed, inexperienced, and mercenary warriors and militia; Yuri Tarhan, commander of the experienced medium-armed warriors; Buri Tarkhan, commanding the heavily armed guard Bagal, large troop; governor, general, commanding 100 to 1,000 men; Bahadur Kermek, honorary title for valor and bravery, meaning brave hero, aka the left wing of the army of the detachment of the front; Buri, the right wing of an army, the detachment of front; Urus Sabin, the part of an army launching an attack. The formation of the Bulgarian army is as if looking south. Kirin Terra, the head of the palace economy Kapagan, the head of the military department, generally of the government Bulumur, moved the capital of Idel from the Volga region of Karasakhlin, present-day Ukraine, to the city of Kanbalin, future Kiev, which he founded and where he died. The Kiev hill on which he was buried was named Sheikh Shek, Shekovitsa, Alupbi, or Alpabai Arbat, 378 to 402, the eldest son of Bulumur and Turan Baika, and as he thus appears to be the continuator of the Agila Dynasty of Ijabak and the first Han Bulgarian Dynasty, he also appears to be the continuator of the second Han Bulgarian Dynasty of Dolo. He was born in 361 and ruled Idel for 24 years. He entered the Russian legends under the name Svyatogor and Solovey Budimirovich. In 378, he defeated the Roman Emperor Valentus in the Battle of Adrianople, Deir in Bulgarian, at Mount Arbat, Rhodope, for which he received the title Caliph. Victorious, and Kanbalin was renamed Kan-Dere. Later, Kan-Dere was renamed Askell. Alupbi declared the steppes between the Danube and the Dnieper to be a royal area, Angel or Azi-Ulag, Ongolany, and a place for the grazing of war horses in memory of Alupbi. The Bulgarian kings of Danubian Bulgaria Shamil, Samuel, and Azin, Asenji, bore the name Caleb. Karatin or Karaton, 402 to 414, the eldest son of Alupbi, possessed great physical strength and repeatedly emerged victorious in single combat at Kan-Dere, the site of Kreshetek. Under him, the Urustarin, the Great Tarhan, prime minister, was his brother Muinchak Abat, Munjuk, Monzuk, Bunchik. Muinchak is buried alongside his ancestors on Kiev's Sheik Hill, Shekalup. Urus Ruza Bipiak, 414 to 434, son of an Alupbi and a princess of the Urus Ruza Wolverines tribe. He received the nickname Burgas in memory of the place Burgas, which Alupbi reached in the victorious campaign of 378. He ruled for 20 years. He died on the site of the Danubian city, which received its first name from Urus Burgas. During the reign of the Danubian Bulgarian king Bargil, Boril, many Danubian Bulgarians, especially the Kojars, Bogomils from this city, moved to Volga Bulgaria as a result of their persecution. Bulut or Bleda, 434 to 445, the eldest son of Muinchak. Tuki, Attil, Abat, Tukul, Tohal, Attila, Etzel, Attila, Ashla, etc., 434 to 453. The son of Muinchak, the most celebrated Bulgarian ruler and conqueror. Born in the year of the horse, for 06, was co-ruler 434 to 445, and afterwards ruled Idel alone. Under his reign, Idel became the largest empire in human history from Alaska and China to France. Under the reign of his son Tingis, Idel broke up into Chirem-Misha, the Danubian-Ukrainian part of Idel, Asparaik or Echk Idel, Inner Idel, the Volga-Ural part of Idel, and Eskil, the Siberian part of Idel. The Bulgarian chroniclers refer the pre-Caucasus to Chirem-Misha and Asparaik. The Bulgarian Bets of the Kan-Dere clan conquered Asparaik and Eskil. The Kan-Dere Bulgarians were called by other Bulgarians as Eskils, Hin, Burdas, Kashins, Bashkorts, Seabears, Siberians, Ibi, Ilik Abi Dulo Buryuli, 453 to 454. The eldest son of Attila, Lord of Idel. He of all things was most fond of horse jumping. His son Chalabi became ruler of Asparaik. Tingis Tenash Hersa /454-469. The middle son of Attila, who ruled Idel. He refused to comply with Chirem-Mish's demand to equalize the rights of the old Hun Bulgarian aristocracy and the elite of the Agazoesni Agachirs and Burdas Sarmatians, for which he was deposed by Chirem-Mish supporters. Chirem-Mish incorporated the Agachiri and Burdas into the dominant Bulgarian ethnic group and magnanimously left Galids, Galicia, or Ulag, Wallachia. But the small horde of Tingis was destroyed without Chirem-Mish's help. Tingis was very fond of the weaponsmith's craft. So many believe that after his death in battle, he was turned by Tangra into the alpha of the weaponsmith's craft Corsa. Chirem-Mish, or Bel Chirem-Mish, Kernek, Hernik, Ernik, Erna, 463 to 489. The youngest son of Attila, continued his branch of the Agila Dynasty, co-ruler of Idel and governor of Chirem-Misha. After the disintegration of Idel into parts for 163, Chirem-Mish, retaining the highest title of Kagan or Khan, Emperor King, declared Chirem-Misha a Bulgarian Beylik principality. He himself explained it in the following way. I have declared my part of the kingdom of Idel to be a Bulgarian Beylik for the reason that our countrymen who have lost unity and self-confidence should not forget their fathers and grandfathers, the great name Bulgar. In the legends, he is often called Magyar, sacrificial, because he started a fratricidal war with the Bulgarians, Siberians in order to restore the unity of Pa-Idel, because he had a dream to restore the unity of the kingdom. Chirem-Mish brought up and educated Alak's son, Chalen-B, and at the request of the Hinsebs or Bey, let him go to them. Chalap, Chalai, B or Baigu, Hin, Iber Seber, Ephrasiab, Auden 463 to 532. Son of Alak, lord of Eastern Idel. Born in 442, he lived 90 years. He was very fond of hunting with falcons. The Siberian Bessi first proclaimed him governor of Asparaik and then of Eskil, Siberia. When he united these two eastern parts of Idel, Chalabi began to call them Iber Seber, called in Iranian sources Ephrasiab. Very soon, Chalabi subordinated Iber Seber and Kashan, Central Asia. He fought successful wars with the Barjil, Persian, Shap-Barid, Peroz, and was married to Barij's sister, Samarbai. After Barij's death in battle with the Siberian Bulgars in 484, Chalabi installed Balash as the Barjil Prezil, and after his dethronement by the anti-Bulgarian Barjil nobles, he elevated Barij's son Kurbit Kavid in 488. Chalabi helped Kurbit defeat the Aryaks, Armenians, and the Urum. From 463 to 520, Chirem-Misha was in subjection to Iber Seber, where the Seber Bessi dominated, but Chalen-B did his best to keep this subjection from being abusive and burdensome to Chirem-Misha. In 520, Chalabi's power and Iber Seber's authority weakened because of infighting among the Seber Baka. At Samarbai's request, Chalabi married Kurbit to his daughter Minli-Biki. Chalabi's brother Kuriazbashi, a former viceroy of Kharezm, killed Kurbit and Minli-Biki's son Seberjan because Kurbit's other son Khosroy had killed Subash of Barjil. Subash, a Barjil nobleman, was for some time, together with Kurbit, hostages in Iber-Seber and adopted Tangrianism, Majorism. Together with Kurbit, Subash tried to bring Magyarism to Barjil, but Khusro thwarted his plans. Subash's movement was given the name Mazdakism. Chalabi was already on his deathbed at that time and could not prevent the assassination of Severjan. But the request of Chalabi, one of his sons, Burjan, saved Severjan's son, Iber, who founded the dynasty of the Khwarezm kings. Ruzajuris Maskut Vityaz, 489 to 505, son of Bel Kermek of Melkai, Milky Moon, the daughter of the Maskut Tarhan of Karabulgar, Chernigov Kart Rudza, Old Rudza, which is why he received the name Ruzza. He had the nickname Bueter Sustainable. He ruled Karaburshud for 16 years. Thanks to the help of the Siberian Bets, he managed to expand his dominions to the west in the course of successful wars with Byzantium. In 492, the year of the monkey, he conquered the whole western part of Danubian Bulgaria from the Danube to the Kubardar, Vardar, Macedonia, and celebrated this event by building the city of Bishin, Maymuna, today's Vidin. Because of his military successes, he received the nickname Jurash, warrior, spirit of war. He became famous as a wise and just ruler. He was a polyglot. He knew native Oghuz Bulgarian, German, Greek, Latin, Slavic Bulgarian, Danubian Bulgarian, Hungarian, Iranian, and Kamtela, the language of the Bulgarian shamans. He had 5 famous sons: Boljak Bulgar, Kushtinkar Bearman, Ayur, Mogur, and Bonjatatra. Bonjatatra Banant, or Mundo, 505 to 520, son of Ruzarash. He was ruler of the Bulgarian Bape Karaburshud for 15 years. He always recognized Chalabi as the supreme Bulgarian ruler and was very close to him. He was celebrated for his belligerence and unusual bravery in battle. In the decisive battle of the war with Byzantium, his 1,000-strong cavalry, Banat, attacked and forced a Byzantine army of 15,000 to retreat. This is why he received the nickname Banat. Defeated, Byzantium was forced to pay Karaburshud a huge tribute, and a large part of the Balkan Peninsula was left to him. Tatra then restored the unity of Idel by subduing Akaburshud and Eskil. He was commemorated in the Bulgarian folk epic Shan Talgau under the name of Tataron. Boljak Bulgar Jilki, 520 to 522, the eldest son of Bonjatatra. He was the governor of the Chalaburjan, pre-Caucasus, part of Iber-Seber. He was born the year of the horse, 490, which is why he was given the name Jilki, horse. At the beginning of his rule, he received tribute from Byzantium and Barjil, Persia, only for the benefit of Chalabi. But then, at the insistence of his wife Boyarkiz, he began to take additional taxes from Barjil for himself as well. Wishing to rid himself of this additional tax burden, the Barjil Shah Kurbit Kawad lured him to Persia to participate in a campaign against the Aryaks, promising to give him the district of the Yuhanjak, Karabagh, in return. Jilki trusted him, but he and a large part of his troops were treacherously massacred by Kurbit's army. Before his death, Jilki bequeathed his relatives to avenge the Barjil for their treachery. 2 cousins of Jilki, Shirak Hazar, with 1,000 warriors in Kalin with 3,000 warriors, went on enlistment, but were released after some time. Kushtin or Bearman, Elbir, Alvar, Ujez, Ugur, Gostin, Gords, 527 to 528, son of Ruzarash and the Bull, princess of the Bulgarian clan Ermi, Bearman, for which he received his nickname Bearman. He was the ruler of Karaburshud for 2 years in the capacity of Ilchabek, regent of the minor royal heir, the young son of Bonjatatra, Boyan Kelabir. He tried to spread Christianity, but incurred the displeasure of the Bulgarian elite, who rallied around his brother Ayur. He died in an attack by a Mogair detachment on his camp. In time, Kushtin's son Sabi Yurgen, Suburgan, in memory of his father, founded the town of Byurgen, present-day Odessa, Ukraine, on the site of this camp. Mogur or Mugul Majeris, son of Ruzajuris, In 528, he deposed Kushtan, but not long afterwards he himself was dethroned by his brother Ayur. Ayur or Avar, 528 to 531, son of Ruzajuris. In 528, he deposed Mogur and for 3 years ruled the Bulgarian Bailiwick. According to tradition, he was cursed with all his offspring by the wife of Kushan, who regarded Ayur as an accomplice in the murder of her husband, and this curse weighed long upon his family. Boyarquiz, 520 to 535, daughter of Dumas Sever, wife of Buljak-Bulgar of the Bulgarian Sever family. After the death of Jilki, she was ruler of Chalaburgan, in the capacity of Ulcibica to her minor son king, and in 535 she became the actual ruler of Iber-Sever. She was an ally of Byzantium, when in 528 the sons of Ayar, Colin, and Shirak-Azar passed through her territory to go to the aid of the Persians. She killed Colin and imprisoned Shirak and his son Dugar, and subsequently delivered them to Urum, Byzantium. As the Byzantines were afraid of Ayur and Sabi-Jurgen, they behaved honorably to these captives and troubled them with nothing. Such captives were called Ak-Hum, white hostages. The sons of Bulyak-Bulgar and Boyarkes, Baris and Mab, Mardikan, laid the foundation of the princely dynasty of Echk-Idel. Sabi-Jurgen or Suburgan, Zabergan, Kaipar 531 to 563, son of Kushtanberman, ruler of the Bulgarian Bailiwick for more than 30 years. Due to the fact that he fought frequent wars, especially with Byzantium, he was also called Kotrag. Restless, he founded the city of Berman, which he made his seat. In order to unite the two parts of Idel in 563, he voluntarily ceded power in the Bulgarian Beylik of Tubjak to Askil Kelbir, son of Boyan Kelebir, until then subordinate to Sabi-Jurgen. Boyan Kelebir or Sandugach, Shan Talgau, Sindlich, Utrik, 535 to 590, son of Bonjatatra. He was invited by Boyarkes to the service of Iber-Seber, where he had to govern Chalaburgan, but soon after her death, he succeeded Iber-Seber. He was known for his peacefulness, which is why he was nicknamed Utrik Calm. He lived 80 years. He entered Bulgarian history and culture as a great poet, musician, and performer. He united the ancient Bulgarian myths and legends, including the songs of Kuban, in a tale Shan Talgau Carrot Tale of Shame, on the basis of which in 882 he wrote a poem. Mikhail Bashchu created his epic poem Shan Katsi Dastan, giving it an Islamic flavor and partially modifying its text and content. The Bulgarians valued poetic creativity above all other works because they believed that it was through the mouths of poets that the god Tangra spoke. For this great feat, the people named Bon Kelebir Sandugach, Nightingale, and Shan Talgau Sandil. In Greek, he has led folk prayer processions in honor of Tangra. In 563, he became king of all of Idil. But in 565, he was forced to acknowledge his dependence on the Turkic Khaganate and had to pay a tribute of 1 samurai skin from each house. He then conducted a census of his subjects. This was done in the Kashan script and with the help of the Kashanese, of whom there were always many in number in the service and in the capitals of the Idel kings, especially in the time of Alan, Agarja, and Bulumur. The Idelish Bulgarians considered the Kashan rulers Bulgarian, and they themselves did not deny this and were related to the Idelish kings. The Idel rulers in many respects imitated the Kashan rulers. The influential and sophisticated Bulgarian bureaucracy of Kashan, Sagdak-Uyghur, or Khwarezmian origin hindered the conversion of the Bulgarians to Christianity and the Byzantine bureaucratic system in the 4th to 8th centuries. In the 10th century, the king of the Danubian Bulgars exterminated many representatives of the 30 official families of Kashan descent. Thousands of persecuted Kashans had to flee to Black Bulgaria, and eventually some of them, together with Arbat, moved to Avaria, Hungary, and there also managed to head the official apparatus. The favorite capital of Boyan Kelebir on the river Kuban, Sandugach, was defeated in 640 by the Arab conquerors. Askil Kelbir, Alvar, or Tubjak, 563 to 593, son of Boyan Kelebir. When he was in the service of Echkidel, where his father ruled, he himself ruled Eskil and fought in Tubzak, Kazakhstan, in Sayaz with the Avars against the Turkic Khaganate. When the Turks approached the borders of Echkidel, his father, fearing for his life, sent him to the Bulgarian Beylik. Askil, as an ambassador of Echkidel, came to Sabi Jurgen several times. In 559, Sabi Jurgen handed over as a gift to Boyan Chelber part of the Byzantine booty, but Boyan Chelber returned the treasures to Byzantium, as he needed its alliance in the struggle against the peace-loving Avars and Turks. But in 565, he acknowledged his dependence on the Avar Khaganate and began to pay tribute to it, rather than acknowledge the heavier dependence on the Turks. But in doing so, he received a much larger tribute from Byzantium, which wanted to caress Tubjak and also to defend its frontier from the Avars. Alburi Aspar Askil, 593 to 602, the eldest son of Askil Kelbir, whom some chroniclers have confused with his father, according to Kulgali. In 602, his capital, Azi-Ulag, was located on the river Aspar. In the same year, 602, the chief of the Bulgars, Avari Yalchek, or Apsi, by order of the Avar Khagan, attacked the capital of Alburi with the object of subduing the Bulgarian Beylik. In this attack, the blind Alburi Askil died by accidentally falling under his horse. Then the Avars did not succeed in putting the obedient Yalchek in power on the Bulgarian Beylik. In 630, when internecine warfare began in Avaria, Yalchek's son, Kabir, led some of his Bulgarians to Altenbash, Italy. Alburi's wife, Aksin, was the mother of his two famous sons, Kurbit, Kubrat, and Shambat. She was of the Kungrat family, which had its origins in the Kashan rulers and the Turkic Kagan Ijim Dash, Ishish. Kurbit Kungrat, or Kubrat, Kurt, Horus, 593 to 660. Alburius eldest son. When his father died, he was quite young. Until Kurbit grew up, the Bulgarian Beylik was ruled on his behalf by his mother's brother, Jurgen/Bergen/Teles, i.e. the uncle. Jurgen had to rebuild the Bulgarian Beylik, which had broken up after the death of Alburi, into 60 udals, tubas. When Kurbit grew up, Jurgen voluntarily handed over to him the fief of the Beylik he had rebuilt. Jurgen's life has gone down in Bulgarian history as an example of selfless service to his people and country. In memory of his uncle and mother, Kurbit named himself after their clan name, Kungrat, which the Byzantines passed on as Kubrat. After the death of Jurgen Teles, his son Bilig also served Kurbit. In a wholesale battle, Bilig saved Kurbit's life, but he himself perished. Kurbit then adopted Bilig's two sons, Lakin and Kazelkubar. Kurbit had three natural sons, Atriak Katrag, Bat Boyan, and At-Teles, or Attila Asparu. Under Kurbit, the posts of leaders of the Great Council of the Great Bulgarians were held by the representatives of the Kungrat family. The head of the government was called Kapagan or Karagan. Thales was the chief judge, Ijik or Idik. The most illustrious family was considered the Bayrin, to which all the aristocrats belonged. He was also called Bisherman. Next to him were the other noble families, the Kyungrat, the Shirak or Shirin, and the Hin. The Bajanaks, the Pecheneg, author's note, were considered to be Hin. The whole population was divided into three groups: Bajali, aristocrats; the Baghanes, middle; Chirem-Misha or Sabaniv, lower, common people. 1 to 12. Genealogy of the Danubian Bulgarian Khans Asparahovi Attila, Asparu, or Atilkios, Magyar, Madai, Battery, son of Kurbit Kyungrat, Kubrat. He was born in the year of the horse, in 634, and took his name from his illustrious ancestor Attila. In everything he tried to imitate Attila and amazed everyone with his energy, ambition, and harshness, which is why he received his nickname Attila, the Beardless. In response to the nickname thus spread, he began to call himself Magyar-Selfless. In the documents of my master, the King Gotzibaraj, I saw the list of the Ulag Bulgarian, Danube Bulgarian, kings brought by the envoy of Azin, Arslan-Tur. The entire archive of the viziers in charge of relations with other countries was burned, as well as the original of this list. This kingdom in Bulgaria was part of Idel and Ulag-Bulgar Great Bulgaria, as well as Urus Russia, Karel Finland, Karelia, Magyar Hungary, Kapchak Kazakhstan. Most of its territory is made up of the mountains of Makidan or Karaburgen, which is why it is also called Burgen and Karaburgen. When envoys came from there, they were hidden from the people in the citadel of the capital. The citadel of Bulier was called Jerdais or Mardigan, which meant knight's citadel, since the word dice also meant capital, headquarters, camp in the common language. The inveterate and ignorant people changed the name of the citadel and called it now Mardikan, now Tursis, and the like. The citadel housed the great palace of Colwyn, a part of which the emir in his lifetime had given to the envoys of those countries in whose relations he was more interested than in anything. The Burjani, Dinava Bulgarian, envoys also came to this palace, lest the stories of the Burjani about the prosperous life in Ulag-Bulgar should arouse in our people the desire to settle there. But it did happen, and more than once. So did the rulers of Burgen. Today's their capital is named Tornaba, and is located around the old pagan sanctuary, where sacrifices were offered and prayed to the spirits of heroes, ancestors. Once late one night at this place, the Byzantine army crept unnoticed to Asparuh's camp from his unguarded side, but the cranes broke loose, and the Bulgarians, alarmed by them, discovered and defeated the enemy. According to the records, Asparuh reigned at the beginning. All his names are listed and explained. Before that, he ruled Ak, Bulgar, Volga Bulgaria, and Echk-Burgen, North Caucasus. To his brothers Lakin and Kizilkubar, Kubur, and he gave the western part of Makidan, Balkan Peninsula. He died in 692. His son Tarvel reigned after him. He died in 719. After him reigned his brother Ayur, whom Asparuh had already placed as co-ruler with Tervel to prevent conflicts over his succession. Tarvel sent him with a detachment of troops to the aid of the Khazar Kagan Kukwayan, who was fighting against the Arabs. Ayur's daughter, Chokchak, was given in marriage to the Kara-Bulgarian Balthavar Sulabai, who had also fought against the Arabs. The son of Sulabai and Chokchak was Ayur, Avar. Ayar of Burj made his co-ruler the son of Tarvel, Kermes, named in honor of the Alpha Kermes, messenger of Tangra. After one of the battles with the Arabs, Ayur became paralyzed and his faithful Kermes began to reign instead. He loved Ayur so much that he entered his tent at the moment of his death. When he came out with the news of Ayur's death, the Burgans declared that Uliats had taken possession of him and he could not rule the country. Then they set his son Suvar to reign. This was in the year of the hare, 727. Suvar died in the year of the horse, in 742, of an upset on account of Shada-Idik, the chief judge, dethroning him in 740. The Bagals and the Baganin. We're told that Ulat had struck down the whole family of Kermes. After a 2-year regency of Bayhatan, they elected Karumjas, son of Uranus of the house of Ujul, and of the daughter of Ayur king. He reigned happily until 755, when his military fortunes changed and he handed over power to the son of his sister Bunek. He died in 761. In the year of the tiger, 762, a contemporary of Bunek, the son of Karimjas and his wife of the house of Yugur, Teles, was raised to the throne. Teles was an ally of the Khazar Kagan. The descendant of the Ijik Shadi, Sane, seized power from the house of Ujul. In 764, his men accidentally killed Teles in battle, but Sane himself was soon overthrown in 765 by Teles's thicket, Yamart. The elder Yamart soon died, and Azin Tukta, son of Kermek and daughter of the Ayar, Avar, Kan-Ulag of the Maguni family, was placed on the throne. His enemies, however, claimed that Azin's real father was an Ajar Bek, and that Kermek adopted him after his marriage. The spreading of this rumor was intended to claim that Azin had been in the service of the Ayar Kagan for most of his life. Azin was quite weak in his childhood, which is why the Kamboyan gave him a magical name. Azin was the father of Korum and the grandfather of Amurtag and of all the Ulag Bulgarian, Danube-Bulgarian, kings named Azin, his descendants. Azin's wife was the bull of the Bulgarian clan, Urasalan. Their daughter Arya Uslan was given in marriage to Kan-Dere and gave life to Yugaradar or Urasadar. Bunek's son, Boyan, succeeded in driving out Sane. After Boyan's death, power passed to Telis' son, Dilyarek. After Dilyarek reigned Suvar's grandson, Kermek's son Karajam, or Karajar, brother of Azin Tukta. The mother of Amurtaka's middle son, Janarbat, was a Magyar bull. Turval, branch, Kermes, son of Tarval. Suvar, or Seber, son of Kermes. Kermek, son of Suvar. Azin Tukta, son of Kermek. His wife was a Bika, princess of the family of Urasalan. Arya Uslan, daughter of Azin Tukta and of the bull of the family of Urasalan. She was given as a wife to the king of Black Bulgaria, Kara-Bulgar, King Karadazar Karadzim, son of Kermek. Chirem, son of Azin Tukta and the bull of the Urasalan clan. Amurtag, or Omertak III, Jamarchak, son of Chirem. Janarbat, son of Amurtak. He was executed for having, as chief diviner Arbat Boyan, changed the faith of the ancestors. Balamir, or Malamir, son of Amurtak. Sabin Shah, son of Amurtak. Burjahan, son of Sabin Shah, was placed on the throne at the age of 13. Gabjala Karamat, sitting in Kyungrat, Ohrid, ruled with perfect independence not only his own province of Turan, Macedonia, but the whole of Danubian Bulgaria. Baris, or Baris, son of Sabin Shah. He was placed on the throne by the same Karamat who at first actually ruled Danubian Bulgaria. But then Barn, the son of a Slav without ancestry, with the help of Slavized Bulgarian clans, took power and killed Karamat himself. There's a preserved notice of Ghazi Baba, Koryam al-Asham, a famous son, Budim, born in the town of Bishin Memuna, or in Sakhalin Slavic, called Budim Vidin, so called after his name. He, by the decision of his Basha, entered the service of Khan Karajar. Budim's son was Jur-Azin, or Juraz. Jur-Azin's son was Jun, or Jun. The son of Jun was Baris, who, with Jakin and Abdullah, translated back here, Ahmad ibn Fadlan in 922, to Bulgar. Baris was married to the daughter of King Shamgun, Simeon, and traveled to Ulag Bulgar on several occasions. Caleb, son of Baris, my lord Gatsi Burj, forbade me to mention the service of Budim and his descendants to Kara-Bulgar Ukraine and AK Bulgar Volga Bulgaria, for fear that the Tatars might on that ground demand from Ulag Bulgar, Danubian Bulgaria, submission. Tat Utyak, the branch of Ayar, Bozak, the eldest daughter of Ayar, given in marriage to Arun of the clan Ujul. Chokshak, the little daughter of Ayar, given in marriage to Sulabai, king of Montenegro. Kormjes, son of Uranus and Bozak. Zura, daughter of Uranus and Bozak, given in marriage to Urisbigu. Kambika, daughter of Urisbigu and Zukra, given as wife to the king of Montenegro Bunek. Son of Urisbigu and Zura. Boyan, son of Bunek. Telis, son of Karumjes. A woman of that time became the daughter of Yamart. Dilarek, son of Teles and daughter of Jamart. The pedigree of the family of Bilig, son of Jurgen Bergen. Tels, grandson of Tanash. Lakin, son of Bilig. Kubar Nobel, son of Bilig, received from Asparu the district of Turin, Macedonia, as in Udal, the main river of which received his name, Kabarder, the river of Kubar, today's Vardar. Nomenger Bilig, son of Kubar. Shadaidik, son of Imanjar Bilig. Kelbir, son of Shadoidik. Sain, son of Kelbir. Bujigit, son of Sain, had two wives, a Byzantine and a Khazar Bulgarian Baika princess. Lu Tarhan, son of Bureget by his Byzantine wife. Kulgali and Ghazi Baba note that Tarhan had two sons, Banja Methodius and Kushan Constantine, Baksan or Cyril. Banja and Baksan created a new alphabet instead of the Kashan alphabet destroyed by the Greeks. At first, the Byzantines tried to destroy it too, burning the books written in this alphabet and persecuting the brothers. From the Greek quarrels, the brothers were saved by the Roman Pope and by the refusal of the Danubian Bulgarian king to use this alphabet. But the other king, Shamgun Simeon, after defeating the Byzantines, established the alphabet of the brothers in Danubian Bulgaria. After that, Jafar Chelbik or Salabi, the eternal Oleg, who served Almash, established the alphabet of the brothers in Rus, justifying this action in a letter to Almash as follows. Here after your resettlement, there is not a single lawyer or literate person left, and here those who can write in Bursal are not few. Somehow Shamgun is our friend. According to the legend recorded by Kulgali in Crimea, the two Christian preachers, the brothers Banja and Baksan, once arrived here. They explained that the Balinese, here Byzantine, ruler had received information about Lakin's desire to convert to Christianity and sent them to convert him. But suddenly at that moment, a fierce war for the throne broke out in Kara-Bulgar, Black Bulgaria, between the Bulgarian rulers Lakin and Jilki, and the brothers had to postpone their journey to Bashtu, Kiev. They went to the Khazar Kakenbek in the hope of persuading him to convert to Christianity. Hakenbek Ilias received them very well, since they came from the noble Bulgarian family of Bilig, and he allowed them to preach freely. The sun of Khazar happiness had by this time begun to set, and the Khazar tribes turned their faces away from the idols of their old delusions. The Khazar Bulgarians accepted the brothers as their new savior spirits, called them sons of Baris, as they said to the Alpacubar, Caleb, messengers of victory, and turned to them with great trust. But suddenly the Balinese, the Byzantine emperor, recalled them. Jalmut Uluskan, son of Bur-Eget and his Khazar Bulgarian wife, Gabdullah Karamat, son of Jalmut Yaluskan, executed by Prince Boris for his schism to convert to Christianity. Dud, son of Gabdullah Karamat. Some suggest that he was Kadoyer, the founder of the heresy of Kadoyerism, Bogomilism, who lived to be 100 years old, dying of a snake bite. Kumantunish, son of Gabdullah Karamat. He had two sons, Michael and Auden. Auden, together with Ugur Lakin and Arbat, the son of Amshi Jafar, made an unsuccessful attempt to overthrow Shamgun, Simeon in 894. Caleb-Badhair, son of Gabdullah Karamat. Uranus, son of Caleb-Badhair. Mogair, son of Arun. Mika, son of Mogur. Shamil or Samuel, 997-1014, son of Michael, king of Danubian Bulgaria, waged war against Byzantium in alliance with Volga Bulgaria. Baraj, or Gaber Radomir, the Roman, son of Shamil, became king of Danubian Bulgaria after the death of his father. He repeatedly resided in Volga Bulgaria and was later killed on charges of sympathy with Islam. Because of this, the Volga Bulgarian king Ibrahim, 1006 to 1025, ended his aid to Danubian Bulgaria and withdrew his troops from it. Gilan, Biter Gilan, Peter the Delian, son of Baraj. He received his name in memory of being born in the year of the serpent Karat Dislan. Mamle, son of Gilan. Tanesh, son of Gilan. House of Kaban. Kaban was a commander in the army of Lakin. When Lakin was summoned to lead the Altan-Bashi Bulgarians, and he bitterly agreed, Kaban followed him. But then he returned to Makhidan. His descendant Yakakaban died in the service of Ulag. Yakakaban's son, Iran Diosaki, distinguished himself in defending the frontiers, put down a mutiny of Urum's companions, and handed over power to Amertak. Under his rule, he repulsed an attack by the emperor of Rum himself. His son Batuir, like his grandfather, was viceroy of Ulag, Danubian Bulgaria, Wallachia. Bater's son, Danish, was held in high esteem at court. Danjish's son, Bagyal, was married to the sister of the Bey Shamil. Bagyal's son was Marker Makhidan, who came to AK Bulgar, Volga, Bulgaria.